Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, and so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show. Booyah!
Oh, yeah, baby. Let's go.
We are live for the fourth week in a row, guys. We have found ourselves on the 2-minute morning post-game show with interesting things to not only watch and discuss alongside Adam the Bull. It is Mike Lucas and G. Bush. Jeff Lloyd will be joining us any second here. Bull, you're a little ahead of us, so you have to lead us through these next 2 minutes, but let me just set the scene. It is the 2-minute warning. The Browns are down 3 and driving. Bull, you're driving the train now. Let's tell us, how this breaks down, how it goes. And we already got over 100 people in here within a minute.
Here we go again, man.
Nice.
Hey, everyone out there, we love you guys.
Hit that like button. Hit that like button on the way in. Make sure you hit that like button, bro.
I mean, do you believe, guys, that the Browns are losing? The other team's quarterback is 7 of 19 for 139 yards and a pick, and the Browns are losing.
I do.
And the two leading rushers for the Falcons are Tyler Algier and Caleb Huntley, who nobody even heard of. So it's been a 50-50 split, G. 33 passes, 33 runs. I don't get it.
That's not a 50-50 team. They should never be 50-50. And the reason why the Cleveland Browns are down right now is because the Atlanta Falcons, they committed to the run. They said, listen, we're not going to throw the ball. We're going to throw one. You only have to. And they've committed to the run. The Browns have still been trying to set other things up. And you see what happens when you get a ball to Nick Chubb. I'm confused why he just doesn't get it. I'm just confused sometimes.
Hey, so to your point, the Falcons have run 51 plays, 33 runs, and 19 passes. Browns 33 runs, but 33 passes. I don't know why you'd ever want Jacoby. And it's not like Jacoby's been bad in this game. He hasn't been as good as the last 2 games, but he's made some good throws. But, I don't want him throwing 33 times. Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt have 28 carries for 164 yards. Why wouldn't you give them? Why shouldn't they? They should have 40 carries by now.
We talked about heading into this game. The last 2 weeks, Stefanski had done a masterful job of putting his offensive players in positions to succeed. He was creative. And today, personally, we'll see how this ends, but I think he got a little too cute for himself.
All right, Kareem Hunt ran. Nick Chubb not even on the field. And it's I don't know what happened. The Browns got a first down. There's a flag on the play, though. It was a 3rd or a 4th and 1, I think. And I don't understand why Nick Chubb's not on the field here. Can we have both backs on the field, please? It was 3rd and 1.
Nick Chubb wasn't on the field in a 3rd and 1 situation.
Wow.
No. And they were going fast, to be fair, but and Kareem Hunt's great too, but let's have them both on the field, please. Falcons were offsides, but the Browns had gotten the first down anyway. So it's 23-20 Falcons, 1:36 to go. And the Browns shouldn't be looking to just get a field goal here. They should be trying to get into the end zone, win the game.
Yeah, there's still 1:30 left. That's 90 seconds. They don't have any timeouts, though.
No timeouts. They're on the Atlanta 41. And because the kick's an option, the running game shouldn't be off the table either. Still no Nick Chubb. Kareem Hunt in the backfield. You got 4 receivers, or 3 receivers and a tight end here. And Jacoby makes threw behind Donovan Peoples-Jones, so it's 2nd and 10. From here, you're looking at a 58-yard field goal. So we know Cade York can make that, but you don't want him to have to kick a 58-yarder.
Hey, G, one thing I noticed on the last field goal by Cleveland, the Falcons were this close to blocking. I don't know if anyone else picked up on that, but they got a great jump and were this close to blocking it. If they do attempt a game-tying field goal here or something in overtime, if we get to that situation, that's something I'm going to keep an eye on, is how close the Falcons get.
Very, because if you're kicking it back from far, you're going to have to kick that thing low.
Exactly.
And he's going to have to get some leg into it. And the lower the trajectory, there's more opportunity for guys to come and block that. So good catch by you, McNuggets.
Brissett to Kareem Hunt on a pass for a short gain. There was a flag at the end of the play. So it's looking like it's probably like a 3rd and 8, but I don't know what the penalty is. It might be on the Browns. 1:24 to go.
You're playing a half ahead. Gee, where are you? Just so I know, where are you?
They set a screen up. He just got tackled. It's a flag at the end of the play, minute 24.
Yeah, that's where I am. Yeah, I'm a little ahead of you. Guys,
we're at 3 different stages.
How many people we got on right now here?
300.
All right, folks, keep it coming. Let's go. Get on there. Brown's going to pull this one out.
Hey, we're going down to the wire again. Make sure you guys, if you're on the way in, it's a small measure. Please hit that like button.
Yeah.
Please hit that like button on the way in.
Bitonio called for an ineligible man downfield because
Is that on the screen?
Yeah, the pass took too long to get out. That's not on him. So
this is a game they have to win, guys.
Guys, they're at the 46. We're over a 60-yard field goal here. 2nd and 15 at the Falcons 46 with a minute 24 to go.
I mean, the ball should have been out. He should have hit him. Yeah. What are you doing? Ball should have been out.
Is in trouble, and he's sacked.
Oh, no.
Oh, boy. Back at the Browns 46. It's going to be like a 3rd and 25 or something.
Jesus.
This is not good. They need a big play now.
This is a game they can't afford to lose. You look at the schedule. This is a prime opportunity for a win minus Deshaun Watson before the schedule flips and gets significantly harder. They just didn't
Here we go. Brissett drops back, throws deep. It's intercepted. Intercepted at the 25. He was in. I can't even see who he's throwing it to, but it got picked off.
On a sack. Once again, Jedrick Wills is standing up, looking around, not blocking anybody. That was his guy who got the sack.
I'm about to watch the sack right now. You see how it says from the left side, G, left tackle?
Yep.
I'm watching him specifically on this play. I'm so far behind you guys.
Yep. Meanwhile, for those who are interested in the division, Buffalo and Baltimore tied at 20 with 5 minutes to go. Surprisingly low-scoring game. And Pittsburgh went to Kenny Pickett, and they're winning 2017.
Just so you know, that was Bitonio got beat for that sack. Willis's guy went out, and he just kind of stood there. Bitonio got beat for the sack.
Well, it doesn't
Here's
matter.
Here's the interception. I guess I'm the heave, looking for David Bell, and
He didn't. And here's the thing, guys. You didn't need a heave. It's 3rd down right there. Get 10, 12 yards.
Right. Give him field goal chance.
Get in the field goal range. This is, to me, this goes down on 4th quarter in the last 2 minutes. They are not coached up correctly. Why are you not in your quarterback's helmet saying, Jacoby, we only need 10 to 12 right here to put ourselves back in field goal range?
Gee, isn't it possible he did that and Jacoby thought he had something downfield, so he went to it?
That looked like a desperation heave. I don't know. That just looked like he just up and threw the rock. It could have been on him. I'm not going to absolve Jacoby Brissett of all of what's happening. But for me, here's the thing. Let me ask you a question. If the screen game hasn't been working all single day, why are we continually trying to set it up in crunch time? You don't need a screen. Just give me a quick check down. Screens are risk reward.
I hear what you're saying. I just think it's so funny because we were killing Stefanski. Then last week everybody's loving Stefanski. Now we're killing him again. I guess that's the NFL, right? It's what have you done for me lately?
It's more of this. I'm looking at the measure of a great coach. The measure of a great coach is not I get out coached this game, then I do good. Then I get out coached this game, then I do all right. To me, tell me what 4th quarter in the entire season have the Cleveland Browns done anything?
Nothing. They've done nothing in the 4th quarter.
No. And we made that graphic. I'll update it for tomorrow, but they've allowed, it was the 2nd most points in the 4th quarter defensively and offensively. I think they've only scored, I think of 6 points is the number. It was 13, but 7 of those were the defensive touchdown against Pittsburgh. So you take that out heading into today. But guys, it's just simply not good. This was once again a game that you look at the schedule, you circle as a game that they should have won. They needed to win. It looks like Jeff Lloyd's here. We'll get him in 1 sec. And as the schedule flips, I mean, we'll break into this in a sec, but just big picture, they have a razor-thin margin of error moving forward until Deshaun Watson gets back if this team is going to compete for a playoff spot come November and December. What's up, Jeff?
Disappointing. There's no way around it. I'm going to go back to this as early as it is. Look, you lose to this game 23-20. That first drive, you were moving the ball, and you look really good doing it, but then you get a little fancy. Just take points. You're on the road. This is not a team that has Deshaun Watson to bail them out of these situations. You have Jacoby Brissett. If the point is there to score points, and look, I'm not going to disagree with in years past where you thought you had better quarterback play. Get up 3-0. You're on the road. It makes it feel a little more comfortable for you. Playing aggressive is fine, but you always want to find a way on the road to come away with points. And that's how you ended up kind of chasing your tail today if you're the Browns. They would have gotten up 3-0. They would have been, up for most of this game. And look, it's not a question of overall questioning the coaching, but just take some points here. You're on the road. You got to play these games a little bit different than you do when you're in Cleveland. For the most part, the offense does some really good things. Defense, I'm not going to give the defense, a hard time here for what they did based on the guys that were actually out there playing. I thought they handled themselves pretty well. I just think if they had maybe gotten things started a little bit more with getting some points on the board, it may have been a little bit more way to play the game, manufacture the game, going through it. And, you ended up chasing after the Falcons today. And, Marcus Mariota couldn't throw the ball. They just kept running it, and bringing every running back they could. It didn't need to be this way. This is a game they didn't need to lose. Go ahead, Bo.
Jay, do you agree? Because I hate kicking field goals inside the 5-yard line. I think it's always a bad move. The analytics tell you it's a bad move. You can't say they would have won the game or it would have been tied because the game would have gone differently. You never know what would have happened. I don't know how they were chasing their tail. They were only down 10 early. Like, that didn't force them to throw the ball more. It was they threw the ball too much. Not because they were down 10-0.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. And the defense, considering how shorthanded they were, I thought played pretty well. But, you can't give them a total pass for late in the game because the Falcons were not interested. They were completely one-dimensional. They were running every play. And the Browns had no answers at the end of the game.
G. Bush, I want you to go, and then we'll come back to this going forward on fourth because I got some strong feelings on this too. But let's go first, G.
You both just said it. You both just said it. And I don't care what the hell people's talking about in the chats. I know what the hell I'm talking about. Y'all could be annoying if I want to, but I'm telling you the freaking truth. The bottom line is the Atlanta Falcons won this game because they said we know what we do best. We knew what they did best. They came in with Cordell Patterson, and guess what they could have did? When he went out of the game, they could have said, you know what? Let's just start throwing the ball with Marcus Mariota. But what did they do? 11 straight times to backup backs down your throat. They knew the Cleveland Browns had backups in. They knew they were tired. But the Cleveland Browns on the opposite end of the spectrum, they don't do the same thing. That is intestinal fortitude. Well, G. Bush, they were stopping the run. No, the hell they weren't. Because the next series, once I said something, Chubb and Hunt run right up and down the field. When you're in this game, you got to know who the hell you are. You got to know who you are. And the bottom line is the Browns don't know who they are. If I got Chubb and Hunt, it's a thing called stop me. And when you look at it, I'll go back to the first half. They get the ball on the goal line. They run a weird play action. They get a weird play action and get a holding call. 3 straight passes. No Chubb, no nothing.
Ridiculous.
You come down the back of the field, then they get the ball and run it up your throat 11 straight times. My problem is this, and we need to all understand that. In this city, we're so starved to get these receivers, so starved to say we got a quarterback, so starved to see passing yards. But you don't understand what you are. You are a running team. Hand the ball to your best player and move out of the way and stop trying to be smart. You try to set screens up all day. They were not working. The last series of the game, guess who wasn't on the field? I like Kareem Hunt, but it ain't Nick Chubb. And somebody need to pull him aside and look him in the eyes and have a conversation and say, listen, it ain't about your playbook. It's not about your tight ends. It's about getting your best people to football. And if you do not understand that, you will be nothing more than a mediocre coach in this league because you got out-coached again because they played their guys and you didn't.
Yeah, I think the coaching thing's worth getting to, and we'll definitely touch on it. I just want to bullet because you disagree, and I'm with Jeff here.
Yeah.
On that first drive, I understand the analytics, and they say go for it, but you're on the road.
Don't care.
You have a chance to end a drive with points from the 3-yard line on the goal line. I kicked the field goal.
You think the players want to go for it, yes or no?
Say it again?
Do you think the players want to go for it, yes or no?
Tua wanted to play, and he shouldn't have played.
Well, we're talking about an injury.
But listen, you're the coach. Those are decisions you make yourselves. And I'm not saying in hindsight that decision changes the entire outcome of the game because there's so many things that happen after that impact winning or
Right.
losing. But I want to end a first drive. If I get the ball first, especially the very first drive of the game, I want to end it in points. And I don't care.
You and Jeff have a loser mentality. That's all right. You live with that.
But that's
that.
I think it's the
You
smart
lost this
way to
game
go.
by 3 and you gave 3 points away. Like the problem is you didn't have a play to call there. And that's what you saw. Look, you make that call to go for that situation saying, guess what? Amari Cooper is going to go in a slot. You know, we're going to run a tight end off. We're going to juke the defense. He's going to be wide open. You call that play with no confidence because the play you had Jacoby Brissett rolling out and throwing the ball out of the back of the end zone. If you don't have the play there, you always take the points.
Well,
you need to build this
obviously
up.
they intend every play to work.
But you don't have Deshaun Watson to bail you out of these situations.
Yeah.
You are getting good play from from Jacoby Brissett. You're not getting the exceptional. You're not getting the out of the ordinary. If you're playing with your backup quarterback to leave points on the board, it's a gamble. It's a serious gamble. If you have Patrick Mahomes, if you have Deshaun Watson, if you have a Josh Allen, a Lamar Jackson, you go into that situation and say,
that's who he is. Jeff, that's who he is, Stefanski. He goes for it every time. You can't complain.
And his percentage is not that great.
You can't complain when they don't get it and then say nothing when they do. We never hear from the field goal truthers when they make those first downs and make those touchdowns.
But we're not playing with your starting quarterback.
You know what, though?
Every drive with a backup quarterback,
if
you produce points, increases the amount of how they feel they're doing. It basically promotes them that, look, what you're doing is right. Points. And again, look, at home is different than on the road. On the road, you chip away. You stay in it for as long as you possibly can. They were chasing 3 points late in the game that they didn't need to chase. They just
how do you know? You can't say that, Jeff. You don't know what would have happened. The game may have not played out the same way. In that first drive, because they didn't go for the field goal, the Falcons had to go 90-something yards. They ended up with a field goal on that drive. And the Browns scored. Wait a second. Let me finish.
What were the Browns playing on defense?
Let me finish for a second.
You wanted your defense to take that field with the promise of we're up.
Okay, you're up 3. Who cares? So if you would have
nothing.
Okay, so if they had gone for the field goal, maybe they would have been down 14-3 because maybe the Falcons would have scored a touchdown instead of a field goal because they wouldn't have had to start from their 3-yard line. They would have started from the 25 or better. So there's no way you could say that they definitely would have scored those, that the game would have ended, it would have been a tie there in that situation because the whole game would have been played differently.
I don't think anyone's saying it would have necessarily ended in a tie.
No, yes. If you're saying they needed those 3 points and they would have tied the game, then you are saying that the game would have gone exactly the same.
Coach, in any situation, if you're, especially on a first drive of the game, I want to end with points. And if it means,
all right, let's move on because let's agree to disagree because it's not the.
Before we move on to run defense. In the first half, they said it on the broadcast. The Browns ran 7 plays inside Atlanta's 5-yard line and got negative 12 yards.
Yeah, how many times did they run? And how many times did they run?
I don't know. I just heard. I'll look into it for tomorrow. But 7 plays for negative 12 yards inside the Falcons.
Gee, how many times of those 7 plays do you think they ran the ball?
0, probably. I knew they threw 4. I think they threw 4 in a row. And that's what I just went off. And to me, that's the inexcusable part.
Yeah.
You are on the goal line. And it's baffling, and this is what I talk about. And when we talk to Leroy and when we talk to DeQuell Jackson, I'm gonna bring this up. They say it all the time. Sometimes you think that coaches are doing what's best for the team. They're not. They're doing stuff patting their ego. Somebody has to be in your headset saying, "Coach, we got a guy back there that can't be tackled by one guy. If you want to gamble." What's the best gamble? He's getting it 4 times. Stop him. I guarantee you he scores.
I do not disagree with you there. Absolutely
we wouldn't have to have this argument about going for it on 4th down had they run the ball because they would have scored a freaking touchdown.
Facts. I think we all agree. Speaking of running the ball, obviously no Myles Garrett, no Jadeveon Clowney, no Brian. What's the defensive tackle?
All right. Okay. Can I just do one thing real quick?
Yeah.
The amount of lip service today when they were talking about Browns defensive players out, to say Taven Bryant, Myles Garrett, Jadeveon Clowney. Whoa. Just stop. Like, there is so one thing there that is not like the other. And look, I'm not trying to give Taven Bryan a hard time, but you're talking about two of the most athletic freak pass rushers that have ever existed in the NFL. And Taven Bryan, who's a jag. He's a jag. So, I mean, just for that today was enough for me. Like, I kept massaging my temples. Like, Taven Bryan is not the issue here.
We
today,
agree.
guys.
Jeff, I agree he's a jag. You're right. Obviously, it's not really that. But you would assume he's better than the guy behind him. Maybe not by much in that case, but.
Perry and Winfrey made a play in the backfield today. I haven't seen Taven Bryan do that yet. So you know what?
Fair.
We got that.
True. Well,
Jordan Elliott with a sack, though. I thought those guys
let me
played
rephrase
well
this, Jeff.
withstanding. But go ahead.
No Myles Garrett, no Jadeveon Clowney, no Anthony Walker. How about that?
There we go.
How about that? Without those three, the run defense, especially in the second half, and G, I want to start with you on this as our resident defensive tackle, but it was non-existent. I mean, it was Swiss cheese. It was, it was softer than melted ice cream with baby poop.
But here's why. Listen, and I just want to keep reiterating this, right? And a lot of times when people say it's about coaching, to me, I can't ask for any more out of them guys. Rochelle came off the street. Perrion Winfrey didn't even play last week. He probably ain't got his conditioning. These guys are 6th, 7th rounders, 3rd rounders, and Jordan Elliott. He made a sack or a play today in the backfield. And guess what? They were in a position to win this game. But let me tell you the levels of coaching, and it's just one or two things. It ain't a big thing. You just got to listen to this.
Okay, guys. Hold on. I just want to tell you, just in case you care, the Bills are attempting a game-winning field goal. Are we interested against the Ravens?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, the kick is up, and it's good. The Ravens just lost.
Great, awesome. We'll take that thing.
And the Jets are threatening against the Steelers at the end of the game in a 3-point game.
I like that as well. I'm gonna give you this right here when it comes to the defense. Those guys played well enough. They got to stop to get them the football. It ain't much you can ask for. But when it comes to who won the game and when they won it, it happened in 2 drives. You didn't give the ball to your best player. You had to punt. They got the ball back. Their best player went on the sideline, and Cordell Patterson, who was hurt. They put a running back that was a backup and another guy, and they ran it 11 times down your throat. Now, here's the problem. It's about adjustments. And Joe Woods and everybody can say, well, this, that, and the third. The Atlanta Falcons got a lot of people out. They got people hurt. And I'm tired of hearing it like Myles Garrett is going to come Captain Kirk save everybody. You had a chance to win, but the games that you're losing are on that sideline. That's how you look. It ain't because if you make the right plays, and you make the right adjustments, and I'm sure how many carries did Nick Chubb get? What was the split for run pass?
It was even 35-35. By the way, Jets have the ball 1st and goal at the Steelers 2-yard line. 35 seconds clock ticking.
We've seen this one before, haven't we, boys?
Jets have all 3 timeouts. No, but they need a touchdown to win, field goal to tie. They have all 3 timeouts though. 2nd and goal, I should say. It was an even split. 35 runs, 35 passes. No excuse for that.
How?
But and G, we talked about this. What did we say? So it was 29 carries. It was 29 carries for Chubb and Hunt today. What did we say? This is the week where 40 needed to be a number.
Absolutely.
Needed to be a number that mentioned. And look, I will give you all of that. Yes.
And by the way, guys, it's not even, as G said before, it's not as if you could say they were stopping the run at all. I mean, Chubb and Hunt were killing them.
Even on bad running plays, they were getting 2-3 yards because they were getting a line of scrimmage and leaning forward and just basically outmanning these guys. Yes, you should have.
They averaged 5 yards a carry. Just to start.
5.1. 5.1. Yeah, they ran well. So
and that's including Njoku's 6-yard.
The worst play I've ever seen in my life.
All right, here we go, guys. 18 seconds left. Jets 2nd and goal inside the 2. Zach Wilson takes the snap, hands it off through the middle. It's going to be close. I think he fumbled. Breece Hall fumbled at the goal line, but I think the Jets recovered. 11 seconds left.
Bull, you're my scariest play-by-play announcer I've ever heard.
Oh, my God. All right.
Give me all his acts.
Breece Hall fumbled inside the 1. Jets recover. It's 3rd and goal, just inside the 1. 9 seconds left.
Jacoby Brissett there real quick for the QB sneak.
Ooh.
Please.
It's a long 1 yard. I think they should put a couple seconds back on the clock. They're going to have one play to score a touchdown, then they try a field goal to tie
Hey,
it.
G. Bush, I got a question for you.
Oh, man. The Browns are still – I know I hate saying first place this early in the season, and it's a bad loss. But I don't know that we need to get that carried away. They're still going to be tied
it's about
for first.
giving games away. You should look. This team could be 4-0. That's
Jeff,
as imperfectly perfect as they are. They could be 4-0, and that's
the Ravens. Listen, you could say that the Ravens 2 games that they lost was the Dolphins game. They blew a 21-point lead, and they had a 20-3 lead on Buffalo today. The Bengals lost to the Steelers, who stink. And they lost to Cooper Rush and the Cowboys. So those teams should be 4-0 also. You know what I'm saying? So we can say that. And I get it. The Bengals and Ravens have played better competition. But still, those teams have.
Please say that.
That is a factor. I give you that.
Please say that.
All I'm saying is today, Bull,
Yeah.
We lost to a team that completed 7 passes.
There's no excuse.
7 passes in the game.
Marcus Mariota looked like a JV quarterback.
Wait a second.
High school JV.
Wait a second, guys. I think they just overturned this call. Wait a second. Did they just say the Jets scored a touchdown?
Play is under review.
Touchdown Jets.
Wow.
They say he fumbled. He had already gone over the goal line. Touchdown Jets. They're up 3 with 16 seconds left. Kenny, I hadn't seen much of Kenny Pickett. I know he threw a pick in his first pass.
Oh my God, it was an absolute lollipop.
Yeah.
It was a lollipop.
I just can't. I don't it's one of those things where we talk about it, man. We just talk about it ad nauseum, and the fact that somebody on display showed you. The other coach knew his quarterback did not have anything to offer. So you know what he said? He said, I'm going to just do this. And on the other side of the football, I mean, he's doing that with walk-on journeyman backups. And I don't understand, what is the point of having all of these good players? And this is my problem that the Browns have had for years. What is the point in accumulating talent? What is the point of having these guys when you got people that do not know how to put them in the best positions or finish games? I'm tired of seeing Nick Chubb on the sideline. We had this happen all last year.
Ridiculous.
And at the end of the game, Jacoby Brissett does the same thing Baker does. Why would you not tell your quarterback, hey, listen, we don't have to get it all here. Give me 10 to 12 to get it in position to do something. The communication is lacking. I just don't. And I'm not just thinking about now. I'm thinking about the future, because there's a lot of people in this city that are hanging their hat on the fact that when Deshaun Watson comes back, everything's going to change. Everything's going to be rosy. But if I can't get you to do what you're supposed to do against these journeymen, against these teams you should beat, you can't give away games. And it don't make me feel better that the Ravens give away games or the Bengals give away. You got to win on your own merit in this league. And they've given away games and tried to 4 times this year, and I just don't see it getting any better. I just don't.
It's a bad loss. Like I don't know how else to just try and sugarcoat it, because you really can't. It's a bad loss. Gee, and it's for everybody. I'm going to name some players today that may or may not have played on the Falcons, going up against some of these nobodies. Let me know if you think this is a real player who recorded a stat in today's game or someone I'm making up. You guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Hawkins.
Fumble. Forced fumble.
He
made up player.
He had 5 tackles today in the game. These are some of
he was the one that forced Njoku's fumble. Yep.
Yeah.
Mike Jones.
Who?
Made up.
Who?
Hey, thank you, G. You got that. What about Mike Ford?
Real player.
Mike Ford had a tackle. Yes.
Mike Ford had 4 tackles today.
Yes.
Traquan Williams.
Made up.
I know Trocon Smith, but he played for like the Saints. I don't know him.
Traquan Williams is a real player. These are dudes who we never heard of, who were out there making 4, 5, 6 tackles a game against for this Falcons defense. And I don't know if is this more play. Gee, you're saying it's coaches not putting players in positions to win. Where was Amari Cooper today? Back-to-back 100-yard games, and we went back to 1 catch, I believe, for 9 yards today. I mean, completely MIA.
He shouldn't have been a part of the. First of all, I didn't like how they featured him to start with. Too many low percentage passes on fade routes. To me, that's one of the worst routes of all time. Like, if you're going to go for the back shoulder, I need it to be one-on-one coverage, and it's to the wide side of the field. It was way too many times second and down, and we talked about it all the time. What can you do on second and we needed second and manageable. And way too many times it was 3rd and 9, 3rd and 8. And that's just not what it is, man. It's just not. That's not what this team is. And for me, yeah, Amari Cooper gets his off of what the other two guys do, right? That's when he gets his, until you get a guy like Deshaun Watson that comes back.
Bull, when you look at this, obviously Chubb not being on the field late, Brissett took a step back in the regression. The defense, missing some guys, but missed some tackles as well. What's your one major takeaway from this as we move forward?
Mike, there's a guy putting some anti-Semitic comments there, Trell Smith. Let's make sure we block him or do what we have to do.
Let me
you see that?
Yep.
16, 13, 15 is the tie.
I got you.
Okay.
I got you.
Jesus.
Listen, there's blame to go around. Last week, everybody was going crazy that last week people were making fun of us for saying 2 weeks ago that they should take the play calling away from Kevin Stefanski. Last week, we were saying he was a genius. This week, we're saying he's an idiot. Hail Mary for the Steelers. Intercepted, they lose. And so I think...
Two. All right. Everybody's 2-2 except the Steelers. All right.
1-3. So I don't want to go too crazy. I do think Kevin Stefanski, like somebody called Kevin Stefanski a great coach a few weeks ago, which was stupid. And now everybody's like, fire. I'm seeing on Twitter, fire him. That's stupid too. I do think he has to take a chunk of the blame here. There's no doubt. Sometimes coaches are scared to just be one-dimensional, right? Like, it's always like, oh, you got to be balanced. Well, not every team's balanced. The Buffalo Bills don't have a great running game. So you know what they do? They throw the ball because they got a great quarterback. And they run it once in a while, but they predominantly throw the ball. The Browns, in particular this week, when you know that your defense is so shorthanded and you want to keep the game as quick as possible, which it was. It was a pretty fast-moving game. And your running game is dominating because the Falcons' defense can't stop the run. And your offensive line is better. G's talked about this. Jedrick Wills is probably below average as a pass blocker, but he's perfectly fine as a run blocker. And they're run blocking, Wyatt Teller, better as a run blocker than a pass blocker. The other guys, like obviously Batonio's great for both, but it's a better run blocking line. You're playing against a team that can't stop the run. It's a terrible run defense. Why would you be balanced? And if anything, really, you threw the ball more because you intended to, at least, because even though it was 50-50, there were a couple of plays where Jacoby ended up running besides the sneaks that were intended passes. So really, you intended to pass more, and it ended up 50-50. The Browns should have easily been 60-40, if not more, running the ball in this game. And just, our argument about the fourth down, what to do there, would have been irrelevant, because if they had given Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt 10 to 12 more carries, the Browns would have won this game by 10 points. And it's unfortunate that didn't happen.
It's about when you do it. Identity is not, the identity of your team is saying, when I need it, what am I going to? And we're not telling you to throw the ball every play. We're not idiots. That's not what we're subscribing to. What we're saying is it was a perfect opportunity to see the juxtaposition. And we saw it because Atlanta did it with a worse line and worse running backs 11 straight times. The Browns would never raise a hand. How many of us here think in the chat? You put a 1 up. Put a 1 if you say yes, 2 no. How many do you think the Cleveland Browns will ever do 11 straight run plays? 1 for yes, 2 for no. Well, I'm anxious to see what you guys put in the chat, because for me, that would never happen.
Never.
It's never going to happen. And he just showed you it ain't about your pride. It ain't about being smarter. It's about, hey, he's just going to do it. And we would hundreds of thousands of twos. It's just not going to happen.
And what's funny, G,
but this is also where it's at, though, G, because at that point, you just had the drive where you basically just had that Falcons defense submit. Basically, you went Kareem, you went Nick. It was boom, 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 and it was like, all right, like you're over, you're ready to tap out. So why, and they had a better success, the Falcons D, against in pass defense than they did in run at that point. At that point, it's understanding, and it's kind of, smelling the blood in the water type of thing. That's where you just needed to go out and say 27 and 24. They're better than Cooper. They're better than the Njoku. You take your best swings with your best players, and that's probably what's infuriating about it. It's not the fact that they didn't just give it to them every single play in a row. It's the fact that they barely tried to get them involved and put it on Jacoby Brissett. And where it is also a rough move in that respect, this is not what Jacoby is here to do. Jacoby is here to manage the waters. Deshaun Watson is ultimately the quarterback who's supposed to pull you out of these fires. So in that case, let 24, let 27 do the heavy lifting. You can mix in a Jacoby throw and let him do what he's been doing, where he's been very successful. But don't put it all in his hands. It's not the recipe for this team right now.
I got two takeaways that I want to touch on here, and they kind of align. So I never played football outside of second grade. I played 1 year. I was terrible. I got my ass kicked. They put me at left tackle, and I was going against kids G. Bush.
Left tackle?
Yeah.
I was about to say, looking at you, Mike, I can't see left tackle.
Listen, right at this
Keep in
moment
mind,
right
it's
now,
second grade, though, so there was no really skill positions, but go ahead.
No,
Jeez.
we ran the ball every. I hated it so much. I got pancaked literally every play. So I was like, Mom, I'm never doing this again. But I played D3 basketball. I played for Jim O'Brien, who coached at Ohio State. And the one thing I always go back to coaching, and Coach OB was the best at this on a D3 level. He was a great D1 coach, was awareness and situation. And he knew when certain buttons needed to be pushed. He knew how to push those buttons, and he knew when to kind of light a fire under everybody. And that's the one thing I don't see with Stefanski on a week in, week out basis this season, is there's not that inherent, like you could be a great play caller, you could be a great play designer, but you don't know how to get the most out of your guys when it matters most. It doesn't matter what everything else has going on. You have to be able to bring out the best in your guys in the biggest moments, and I haven't seen that from Stefanski. And going off that, after that week 1 game with Cade York hitting the 4 field goals, and then do you guys think he's lost a little confidence in York?
No,
He didn't kick the 6th. He had a chance at a deep one, that second to last drive.
Well, listen, I get Mikey. There might be a little something in that because to me, it's almost like there was an opportunity early to take the points, and I can understand what Jeff and McNuggets are saying. They're just saying, look, you got a backup quarterback, you got a nice drive in the first one. Hey, just get some points real quick with a terrible D-line. We can argue back and forth about whether or not your personal temperament about whether you would go for it or not.
Yeah.
But the thought process is, my thing was, I didn't understand the play calling at the end because we're in field goal range. We're like you could have ran the ball, got up and queued it, run it, and then gave it, and they gave the rock to the kicker and been like, hey, let's go out and win this. But he drops back and throws the ball. We get sacked. We just take losses, and it's like, you're right there. How many teams would have just ran it a few times, even quarterback sneak and say, look.
Absolutely.
And they were trying to, I get that they were trying to score a touchdown and not just settle for a field goal to win the game. But with this offense, I think you're just as likely to score a touchdown running the ball as you are passing the ball.
You're more likely.
And you're certainly not going to lose yards like you could possibly in the passing game. And to your point, G, where you said before, will the Browns ever run the ball 11 straight times? And you think about it, because that's what the Falcons did. And basically in the second half, they ran it almost every play. The Browns, look at the 2 guys who are running for Atlanta, and no slight to them because they did a nice job. But look at the talent of those 2 guys versus the talent of the 2 Browns guys, and they're the team that ran it basically every play. And even though you're right, early in the game the Falcons had a lead, but the entire second half nobody ever led by more than 3 points, right?
No.
So there was no reason ever in the second half to go away from the run when you were killing them on the ground. They should have ran the ball almost every play in the second half, and they didn't. And as you said, and as we talked about a million times, why is Nick Chubb, the best player on your team, on the sideline when the game is hanging in the balance? That never makes any sense.
And if you want to put Kareem Hunt in the game,
put them both
in the game.
Yeah.
I mean, what are we doing here? Anthony Schwartz gives you nothing.
He didn't play today. He didn't play.
He played like 3 or 4 plays at the end of the game. And my thing is that, you know what that shows me? It shows me a lack of a coach having awareness. The worst thing you could not have is awareness about yourself. Everybody has blind spots, and you need somebody sometimes to pull you aside and be like, hey, G. Bush, man, let me tell you something, man. I like what you're doing here, but I think we could work a little better here. And you need somebody to be able to tell you that. But if he ain't got nobody, that it's Van Pelt, if it's whatever, if he don't have nobody telling him like, listen, coach, have you noticed when we get in a tight, our best player don't get it. Our best player ain't never involved. Why is that? Maybe he's not doing it on purpose, right? Maybe it's just something, a quirk, right? But somebody has to have some awareness to pull him aside and say, guys, we got to do a little bit. We got to do better than this and getting our guys to football in the fourth quarter.
I'm going to jump in here with, look, the Browns, one of the reasons they were victorious over the Steelers was Nick Chubb, 23 touches. You were in a tight game against an inferior opponent. There should never, ever be a Cleveland Browns game where Nick Chubb only touches the ball 21 times. He should be a 25 touch guy per game. You are not putting games away early where you can just ice him. You do not have Deshaun Watson yet. Nick Chubb is the best thing this Cleveland Browns offense has going for them. And for him to only touch the ball 21 times in a tight game that you end up losing on the road against an inferior opponent, that is a problem. As much as we all love Kareem, Nick Chubb, 25 or more. Or what's the point? Because every one of those usually turns out to be what? Minimum a 6-yard game.
6 yards.
Minimum 6-yard game. They're not doing themselves the best favor in that respect. Nick Chubb is the focal point of this offense, especially with Jacoby Brissett at the quarterback position. He is that good. He is that talented. And Mike, me and you, for the last time, you would have been playing for a field goal on that last drive. You wouldn't have been playing for a touchdown, Mike.
He can't leave it.
Jersey boys unite.
But he was right. It's a personal preference. Like, I don't think them going for it ruined it. I would prefer to end a good opening drive.
I play on the road differently than I play at home.
That's
I'll
fine.
Take that gamble at home.
Listen, we could debate that all day.
Just one last thing.
Yeah.
If I knew I was putting Atlanta in that situation, and I'm bringing Myles Garrett, and I'm bringing Jadeveon Clowney, and of course Tavion Bryan, if I'm bringing those three guys in that situation, I feel comfortable about it. At home, it's a different story. On the road, I just think you play a little bit different. That's all.
Maybe so, but in the end, there's no way we know what happens if they had done it, right? So you can't say they would have won the game. We have no idea.
So how many people we got right now? What are we looking at?
About 1,100.
1,100 people in here. If you're new to the channel, we appreciate you jumping on. Whether you're watching on Locked On Browns, whether you're watching on Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, we appreciate you guys coming in here and watching the 2-minute warning. Please do us a favor, hit that like button on the way in, and if you're on the way out, or hope you're in on the way out, please hit the like button and make sure we get this content spread around.
And one last thing though, hey guys, everybody, Roku, the Roku app, go ahead, check it out. Locked On Cleveland. I mean, look, if you want Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, you want Locked On Browns, you want all your Locked On Cleveland sports content, check out the Roku app. I mean, I got that email the other day. I was blown away. You know, it made me like king for a day in my house for like 6 minutes because my kids thought I was cool for like a second. Nobody checked it out. Nobody fired it up. But I'm gonna
download. I watch all the games on Roku. I got the DirecTV stream. So definitely, we appreciate you guys out there watching. Let me ask y'all a question. Did we overestimate this team?
Yes.
Did we overestimate just how good the talent level on this team is?
No,
not the talent. No.
The second part, no.
Production, yes. But look, the bottom line is this: they've played the Jets, the Steelers, the Falcons, and the Panthers. 4 of the worst teams in football. They're 2-2. They could be 4-0, and they also
at least this could. We got to stop with this. Could have been. Every game in the NFL is a could have been. You are what your record is.
That's why I'm asking the question.
I'm saying, they are within a play or two. They've been in 4 close games with 4 of the.
But they could be 0-4 also. I mean,
that's what I just said.
Yeah.
So they can be 4-0 or 0-4. You know,
no.
I mean, I think when we look at this team, the talent's there. You look at the quote unquote like Madden ratings of this team. They got a bunch of guys who'd be 90 and pluses. But they're not playing up to and performing up to their talent capabilities right now. And that's why I think a lot of the issues with Browns fans gets pointed back into coaching. You could have talent, but if you don't put talent in a position to succeed,
I'm stuck.
That's a bad coaching job.
I'm stuck between, because here's the thing. I like to, I lead the bandwagon when it comes to the coaches, but I also have to put personal accountability on some of the players as well. If you guys in the chat, you weigh in, your fans, let me know. If you thought the talent is overrated, give me a 1. If you think, I think exactly what they are, give me the 2. If you think they're underrated, give me the 1. If you think, I just think it might be some other things, they'll get on track, hit me with the 2. For me, I'm just asking because I had expectation levels where the Jets, and it wasn't Jets and Falcons. It wasn't no Jets and Falcons. This team, to me, on offense alone, should not even be in the ballpark of some of those teams. I just didn't see it. I just don't see it, man.
I mean, and Bull, I'll toss to you on this, but we talked about heading into the season. We had a Didi say it. We had Jay Feely said it. Yeah. Jay said it. I think G said it. I think you said it, Bull. Those are going to be a top 5 defense in the league, and they've been anything but that in both facets, against the pass and against the ground.
No, and obviously without some key guys today, but they
notwithstanding, but the secondary played much better.
They did, but then again, I mean, you're facing Marcus Mariota, but Denzel had a good game. I thought Grant Delpit played well early. You can't tackle worth a crap on some of those running plays, but he was getting dragged down the field by that guy for like 15 yards. That Tyler Algier. He's gonna get that.
I think Delpit thought that penalty was on the Falcons, and he kind of like Yeah.
By the way,
and it was the way. No, he is going to be on. Who's that guy that does the You guys know what I'm talking about. The guy on Twitter does the film breakdowns.
Yeah,
he's gonna do that Browns one with Grant Delpit. Yeah, that's not gonna work very well. You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah. By the way, the Browns fans are already mad at me because I'm saying they should have. I agreed with the decision to go for the touchdown, which of course, had they made the touchdown, nobody would be saying they should have kicked the field goal. But I'm gonna make them even more mad. Ohio State shouldn't have done that fake punt. That was out of line. But that late hit was. But that late hit was even more out of line. The late hit was even more out of line. But don't be faking a field goal when you're up. This is not professional college.
Did you see what the Ohio State player said on Twitter today about that?
What did he say?
He said Rutgers brought the all-out punt block to the one side, so the punter just ran the other way. It wasn't just I don't know if I believe it or not. I'm just telling you what the tweet said.
You know what? Then take the 15-yard penalty if you get roughing. And look, Schiano, and I will tell you right now, I know Greg Schiano firsthand, and he is an immense pain in the ass. But it's like, hey, you're Ohio State, we're Rutgers.
Schiano's a D-bag.
You ain't got to do that.
But you can't.
I totally agree.
But don't take a cheap. But the cheap shot on the punter was not warranted. That's not the way you handle it.
By the way, I'm in here with 3 New Jersey guys. New Jersey, New York, New York.
Give him Tri-State. Give him Tri-State. We'll like Tri-State.
Connecticut is in there too, apparently. Who knows?
Screw Connecticut.
By the way, have you guys seen, real quick before we go, have you guys seen the score of the Seahawks-Lions game?
It's like I know that. Closing on the 50s, isn't it?
It just ended. The Seahawks beat the Lions 48-45.
What?
All right, let me give you some stats.
No, I know. Yeah, last I saw
Geno Smith, 23 of 30 for 320 yards. Rashad Penny, 17 carries, 51 yards.
Who would have known?
And Jared Goff went 26 of 39, 378, and 4 touchdowns.
And I think Jared Goff out without a couple of receivers today for Detroit too. Not that they have anybody.
I want to do something a little cool. I do this on my live, man, and I just want to show how cool this is. Now we checking in. We're gonna go around the horn. We need to know where you checking in from, man. We got Browns fans all around the country, win, lose, or draw. I need you to put it in the chat where you shouting out. Right now, I'm over here in Cleveland, Ohio, aka Lakewood. Right now, a 330 Canton in the building. Also, you know how I represent. Where y'all checking in from, Jeff? Where you at?
Well, I mean, Bull, you may know this. There was a racetrack around here, and you worked at WFAN with Mike Francesa, Freehold, New Jersey. Mike knows it well. I'm Red Bank Catholic High School. Mike knows that as well. But it's a blast, dude. We had a lot of fun here. Today was, obviously unfortunate. Seems 2-2. And look, as we all know, the business is about to pick up. So you said, look, the Browns at worst are tied for first. And now you're starting to play these better teams. look, can you rise? Can the cream rise? Because I mean, there's a lot of ways the Browns could have been 1-3, 0-4, 4-0, 3. Who the hell knows? But you're playing some better teams here now, and hopefully you're getting some reinforcements back, and we'll see where this team is at. Definitely a salty taste today with the way this turned out. And look, I will never ever be okay with a day where Nick Chubb only gets the ball 21 times. Never in my life.
By the way, somebody said he was from Colombia. Another guy said from Germany. We got people from all over the country.
We do. No, this is awesome. Yeah. Hey, we're gonna end on a positive note, though, guys.
Yeah.
Game ball for somebody outside of Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb. If we're giving a game ball, it's probably Chubb. Bo, who are you giving your game ball to for the Browns?
I gotta think about it. Come back to me. I'm not sure yet.
Jeff or G?
I'll go Denzel Ward. Denzel Ward, a lot of bad things have been said about Denzel Ward for 3 weeks. There was the one play where he literally walked Drake London out of bounds to make sure that completion wasn't had. He had the interception. Denzel Ward, for a lot of things that have been said about him for the last couple of weeks, not playing up to his abilities. Denzel Ward, I think we saw the guy we're all a little bit more comfortable with today.
Hey, I'm gonna go. Listen, Ethan Poaches, man. Once again,
right? If we never say the guy's name, he's getting the job done as a center.
He's a third teamer. He's a third teamer. And the Browns, once again, even though they didn't give it to him, they quietly racked up, I don't know how many yards, 160, 170 on the ground.
5.1 per carry. That's all that matters.
Could have been over 200 if they had kept giving it to him. But give me Ethan Poaches as center as my guy.
Bull?
Corey Bojorquez.
The punter had a good game. He did actually have a really good game.
He was a good punter.
Really good game. Really good game. Really good game.
Right.
Antarctica's in the building. Antarctica? Are you crazy?
Nobody's in Antarctica. That's baloney.
The medical musician. I believe
they have Wi-Fi out there?
No chance.
Hey,
that's baloney.
Hey,
all right, guys. Listen. That's going to wrap it for now. That's Adam the Bull, G. Bush, Jeff Lloyd. Catch us tomorrow on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, 11 to 1. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. And then check out G and Jeff on the Locked On Browns podcast. Check out The Bullpen by Adam the Bull. It's a daily podcast. And it's all under the UCSS channel on YouTube. 2-2, back again next week against Brian Hoyer. If we lose that game, we are in serious trouble.
Actually, Axel Hoyer. If we're going by his appropriate name, it would be Axel Hoyer.
All I know
no. Next week's Chargers, baby. Next week is Justin Herbert.
Chargers. You're right.
Well,
that doesn't make me feel.
By the way, guys, Baker on pace for a 70-yard passing day, so he's off to a good start.
It's not going well.
Oh,
it's
this guy,
really
I gotta go.
well.
Your cat's been messing my day up.
Later, guys.
Later.
Love to everybody. We talk soon.
Hit that like button.